What's up, nerds? Buckle up because Deadpool and Wolverine is here, and it's as electric as a lightning storm in a comic book shop. If you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out on what might just be the most entertaining ride since Infinity War and Endgame. This film is a love letter to comic book fans wrapped in a red suit and claws. And let me tell you, it's absolutely fantastic. So the plot kicks off with Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, making a bold leap from his timeline to the sacred timeline of Earth 616, using Cable's time-traveling device. His aim? To join the Avengers and save his deteriorating universe by finding a variant of Logan, the X-Men's Wolverine. The film is fast-paced and emotionally charged adventure that not only dives deep into the multiverse, but also respects its source material while having a blast with it. This is a Deadpool and Wolverine at their finest. Wild, witty, and wonderfully chaotic. Deadpool and Wolverine team up and sometimes square off in a story that's both emotionally charged and a laugh-out-loud funny. Speaking of laughs, let's talk about the cast. Ryan Reynolds absolutely nails the role of Wade Wilson / Deadpool, with a performance that's like a stand-up comedy routine on a roller coaster. His Deadpool isn't just breaking the fourth wall, he's demolishing it with a sledgehammer, mixing rapid-fire quips with explosive action sequences. Now, Reynolds seamlessly blends sarcasm with sincere moments, making Deadpool both hilarious, irreverent, and unexpectedly heartwarming. Plus, his dual role as Deadpool and Nicepool showcases his incredible range, providing that he can do both chaos and charm with equal flair. Reynolds doesn't just deliver jokes, he layers them with a genuine emotion, making Deadpool's struggles feel real even amidst all the mayhem. His dedication is clear from the meticulous performance and physical transformation, turning every scene into a memorable comedic gem. And let's not forget the dynamic chemistry with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, which results in some of the film's most entertaining moments. Reynolds' fearless approach to deconstructing the superhero norms ensures Deadpool stays as fresh and irreverent as ever. I mean, I just love Ryan Reynolds in this role, you guys. I mean, I laughed hard so many times at the jokes in this movie. Speaking of Nicepool, my favorite one was and I think I mentioned it later on because I have it in my notes, but I love when he's all like, "Oh my God, can I have your dog if something happens to you?" And Nicepool's just like, what would happen to me? I just like every little like nuance like that was just perfect, and I loved every minute of it. So let's move over to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is like a fine wine. He just gets better with age. And at 55, Jackman is still tearing it up in his physicality and his intensity that makes Wolverine look like he's never missed a beat. Seriously, guys, this guy is jacked and hot as shit. His portrayal balances raw power with deep emotional resonance, delivering a version of Wolverine that's as complex as he is clawed. Watching him dive into Wolverine's past with a mixing of brooding and redemption is like seeing a grizzled hero's soul laid bare. Jackman also flexes his versatility with various Wolverine looks, from the classic blue and yellow suit to a grittier evolution, proving he can adapt while keeping the essence of the character intact. His chemistry with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool adds a comedic spark that keeps the film lively, showcasing Jackman's ability to blend humor with action. Ultimately, Jackman's Wolverine remains a cornerstone of the X-Men universe, embodying strength and depth that make him a fan favorite. I loved Hugh Jackman in this movie. I thought it was arguably his best Wolverine performance to date, and I just loved every minute of it. I'll talk about the other Wolverines when I get to the cameo section. So moving on to Emma Corrin's Cassandra Nova. So Cassandra Nova is a mix of sinister vibes and unexpected humor, making her a delightfully chilling presence. As Charles Xavier's formidable twin, Corrin brings a refreshing mix of charm and menace, making Nova both intriguing and memorable off-kilter. Her performance is a visual treat, with her telekinetic and telepathic powers highlighted by an eccentric style that gives her an otherworldly flair. Now, Corrin's nuanced portrayal of Nova balances her villainous prowess with moments of vulnerability and eccentricity, adding layers to her character that make her more than just a powerful antagonist. Her ability to convey tension and drama in a high stakes situation keeps Nova compelling throughout the film. Overall, Corrin's performance brings a unique energy to the movie, making her a standout villain with both depth and pizzazz. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see this villain stick around, which is a bummer because I hate how Marvel just kills off all of their villains in one movie, and I'm all like, maybe you should just keep them around. But with adding in the TVA, I think that this this whole thing, we now have we could get a variant of this, but I'm not quite sure. I never really liked Cassandra Nova in the comic books, and this one was definitely overpowered in my opinion, but what are you gonna do? Now, Rob Delaney's role as Peter Wisdom, though not extensive, brings a delightful touch of humor and relatability to the film. His portrayal of a car salesman and member of Deadpool's X-Force team adds a layer of groundedness amidst the chaos, and Delaney's comedic timing and presence help to create memorable moments and ensuring that his character leaves a lasting impression despite his smaller role. Blind Al, Leslie Ugam's portrayal of Blind Al, is a charming and endearing addition to the film, and small. Her character's dynamic with Deadpool adds a touch of warmth and humor to the story, showcasing Ugam's ability to bring depth and personality in a supporting role. Her interactions with Deadpool are both hilarious and heartfelt, making her a standout character in the film. Now, Matthew McFadden's role as Mr. Paradox is a standout performance in itself, bringing a touch of intrigue and gravitas to the TVA's machinations. Now, his portrayal of a TVA agent with a grand ambition adds a compelling layer to the storyline, and McFadden's performance effectively captures the character's determination and ambition, enhancing the film's narrative with his nuanced and engaging portrayal. But at the same time, it's interesting, but at the same time, I'm all like, what's his end game besides destroying Deadpool's universe? I mean, he wants to just get rid of it in a snap. And I go, why? Like, for a promotion at the TVA? I mean, what was going to give him the edge after that? Like, once he destroyed it, then what? I mean, does he just move on to the next one? It would have been better if the movie kind of fleshed out what his goal was after destroying Deadpool's universe. That was the only thing that I still questioned. Like, once his universe is destroyed, then what? Does he just move on? Essentially making Cassandra Nova, and him have the same goals. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's dive into the action sequences from Deadpool and Wolverine, which are packed with inventive choreography, memorable music, and trust me, I'm buying this soundtrack, and impressive visuals. For anyone who thinks that action films are all about mindless explosions, this film provides otherwise, with 6 standout action sequences, each crafted with care and flair. The film offers a thrilling blend of humor and high-octane action. So the opening credit scene, the NSYNC dance extravaganza, the movie kicks off with a bang in this opening credit scene, where Deadpool is seen using Logan's adamantium skeleton to fend off TVA officers. This sequence is set to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, adding a nostalgic and ironic twist. The choreography is top-notch, featuring Deadpool executing perfectly timed dance moves. Now, what makes this sequence especially memorable is the unexpected blend of humor and action. Deadpool's commitment to nailing the dance routine, whether performed by Reynolds himself or a talented double, which I found out after I had written my notes that it was performed by a dancer because he had posted some stuff on Twitter. This adds a layer of comedic genius that sets the tone for the rest of the film. This sequence not only showcases Deadpool's unique style, but also establishes Logan's presence in a fun, unexpected way. So in their first clash, Deadpool and Wolverine deliver an electrifying fight that was heavily promoted. I mean, we saw it all over Twitter. It was with these behind the scenes videos, and so we pretty much knew we saw pretty much all of the moves and everything. And this sequence begins with Wolverine crawling towards Deadpool in a feral, almost predatory manner. I loved that part. I thought it was really, really great. And the move is both visually striking and perfectly in character for Wolverine, capturing Wolverine's primal nature. Now, the fight itself is a dynamic blend of Wolverine's raw power and Deadpool's agile unpredictability. Their battle is cut short by the intrusion of Cassandra Nova's crew, but the choreography and the intensity of their skirmish provide a thrilling introduction to their rivalry. This scene brilliantly sets up the tension and the camaraderie between the two characters, blending action with character development. Now, the car fight scene is a delightful spectacle of action and music. Initially, the sequence features a soundtrack that transitions from Hugh Jackman's The Greatest Showman song to You're the One That I Want from Grease. Now, this choice not only pays homage to Jackman's own musical background, but also adds a humorous touch. The fight itself is ingeniously staged, with Deadpool and Wolverine exchanging blows amid the flurry of seatbelts and car interiors. And the final touch, with Wolverine tying Deadpool up in seatbelts, adds a humorous twist to the action, highlighting the character dynamics as a visually engaging way. The inventive use of the car as a battleground showcases the film's creativity and flair. I really liked it. Also, them ending up on "You're the One That I Want" from Grease. Hugh Jackman said that he had a huge crush on Olivia Newton-John growing up, so I thought that was fun. I also really thought that Hugh Jackman, especially because we saw his face, we didn't see Ryan Reynolds' face, but when he goes off on a tangent about how Deadpool, is such a loser basically, and couldn't even cut it and get into the Avengers and they'll accept anything. And then he's just like, you're never going to save the world. Was not only just a great performance, but it was great. But I also like Deadpool's reaction to that. Where he's just like, oh no, you don't have anything to say, mouth. And then it's just silent for a second. And then Deadpool's just like, I'm going to fight you now. And I just loved that. I love it. And then he just punches him, and then the action begins and everything. Just super great. Loved everything. But one of the standout sequences is the epic showdown between Deadpool, Wolverine, and the Deadpool Core. This battle is a highlight due to its sheer scale and the clever use of different Deadpool variants. Seeing Deadpool and Wolverine cut their way through the Deadpool Core is both exhilarating and entertaining. Hugh Jackman's comedic moment using Dogpool as a shield adds a layer of humor that contrasts with the intense actions. I love when he just walked away and all the Deadpools just stopped firing because they're like, don't hit Dogpool, he's just too cute and everything. It really was great. Now, this sequence also cleverly incorporates Nicepool's inability to regenerate, leading to a darkly comic moment when Deadpool's own version of the Deadpool Core is used. This battle is a perfect example of how the film balances humor with high-stakes action. I really loved that. I loved it, but at the same time, I felt bad. But when he holds up Nicepool and uses him as a shield, and then he's like, how long does it take you to generate? He's like, generate. I'm all like, oh my, and then blood's gonna be on his mouth, and he's like, you're gonna live or whatever. So funny. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I laughed at this. It was just so great. So at the end of this, the action in the void is a spectacle of chaos and creativity. The setting itself is pretty fun and everything, and this fight scene is choreographed with a blend of frantic energy and stylish flair. The action sequences in this part of the film are heightened by their own otherworldly environment, making each move and explosion feel larger than life. The void provides a fitting backdrop for some of the film's most intense and visual. The Ant-Man compound provides a fitting backdrop for some of the film's most intense and visual stunning battles, showcasing the film's commitment to delivering a memorable cinematic experience. Climactic battle brings together all the elements that make the film's action sequences stand out: high stakes, innovative choreography, and emotional depth. This final confrontation is a masterclass in blending humor with intense action. I loved the way that Gambit, I mean, the way that he kind of like used his cards and threw them and everything and kind of lit up his pole and stuck it into the Russian, and then the Russian exploded. Loved that. And I'll talk about it later on when I get to the cameos of this, but I just loved all of the different, I love Blade just cutting through all those people. Super fun. I mean, the choreography is fluid and dynamic with Deadpool and Wolverine demonstrating their unique fighting styles. And then the action is not just about spectacle, but also about character moments, as the fight reveals deeper aspects of both characters' personalities. But this final showdown is a satisfying culmination of the film's action sequences, leaving viewers on a high note before we get into the Deadpool's universe. Now, overall, the action in Deadpool and Wolverine is a testament to the film's creative vision and dedication to delivering an exciting cinematic experience. Each sequence is thoughtfully designed with innovative choreography and music choices that enhance the viewing experience. The film successfully blends humor and action, creating a thrilling ride that keeps audiences engaged from start to finish. Whether you're a fan of the high-octane stunts or clever comedic moments, the action in this film is sure to leave a lasting impression. And now finally on to the cameos. The film is packed with delightful surprises, and we're going to talk about all of them. First up, Sabertooth and Pyro. Now, Tyler Mane's Sabertooth makes a brief but memorable appearance. It's like a nostalgic nod to the classic X-Men movies, reminding us why we loved these characters in the first place. Sure, his screen time was shorter than a catnap, but let's be honest, it was just enough to remind us why we loved him in the first place, but we really didn't need him to stick around. I was kind of disappointed in their fight sequence because it's like Wolverine and Sabertooth finally mixing it up, and it's a Sabertooth that looks more like the Sabertooth from the comic books, but it didn't last long, and we saw this behind the scenes stuff also, but what are you gonna do? Now, Aaron Stafford's Pyro returned with a vengeance and with a much more interesting costume. It's like he finally upgraded from Pyro at a Halloween party to Comic-Con Pyro, you know what I'm saying? Now, while some of our old favorites were MIA, Sabertooth and Pyro made sure to strut their stuff, giving us a nostalgic wink and a reminder that even in a cameo, you can't beat the classics, even if they're just there to make us go, wait, is that? And I just want to say also, every time Pyro opened his mouth and showed his smile, I just want to be like, hey, Pyro, did you know that gingivitis is the leading cause of all tooth decay? All right, so I want to talk about Chris Hemsworth cameo as crying Thor. It might have lasted about as long as a thunderstorm in the desert, but it was still a flash of genius. There's something hilariously perfect about seeing the god of thunder shedding a tear over an injured Deadpool. It's like Thor accidentally wandered into a soap opera and decided to be the drama queen for a second. While we only got a glimpse, it's a delightful nod to the fact that Hemsworth knows how to be a good sport, and he has an awesome sense of humor. And who knew that even in the midst of the cosmic battles and intergalactic escapades, Thor has time to crash someone else's movie and show some heartfelt sympathy. Here's hoping that someday we get a full-blown scene where Thor and Deadpool can go toe-to-toe in a buddy comedy that's bound to make us laugh until we're crying, just like Thor did for our favorite merc with a mouth. Now, I just want to say, as soon as the whole time I was just like, why is Thor crying? And I loved how Deadpool kept like bringing it up throughout the movie. And I really do hope we get to see that full scene, even if we don't understand the context of why he's crying. I would just love to see it. Also, seeing Jon Favreau's Happy Hogan pop up in Deadpool and Wolverine was like finding an extra nugget of gold in an already packed treasure chest. I mean, who would have thought that Happy Hogan, the guy who's seen more action as Tony Stark's chauffeur than as a superhero sidekick, which I love that joke, whatever. And who would have thought that he would steal the show? Favreau's scene was a brilliant mix of humor and nostalgia, providing once again that even Happy can deliver a punchline with style. It's like Happy's been making a cameo tour, and every time he nails it with a classic comedic timing. And let's be honest, Reynolds' playful jabs about Happy being the chauffeur and the hilarious no RDJ cameo comment were comedic gold. Plus, that Stark Industry office, it was a heartwarming throwback to the glory days of the MCU. Not so much anymore. Complete with enough Avengers memorabilia to make you wish you could swipe a souvenir. Happy Hogan might be the unsung hero of cameos, but in this film, he reminded us why he's always worth a seat at the table, or at least a spot on the cameo list. Now, oh boy, Jennifer Garner's cameo as Elektra in this movie was a delightful surprise, like finding a ninja star in your cereal box. It's clear that Deadpool's universe is all about mixing things up, and seeing Elektra step into the fray was like a nod to the action hero roots of the early 2000s. Now, while Garner's Elektra didn't get to unleash her full range of martial arts moves, her cameo was still a blast, especially with that cheeky dig about Ben Affleck's Daredevil not surviving the void. Oof, I was when she said that, I was just like, man, like when he's like Daredevil didn't, he's like, I'm sorry Daredevil didn't survive the void. And she's like, that's okay. I was like, is Ben watching this? He's not watching it. He doesn't care. But it was like Deadpool was channeling his inner comedian to give us a dose of nostalgia and a side of sharp humor. And let's be honest, the icy comment about Elektra's ex was the perfect blend of dark comedy and meta fun. It's moments like these that remind us why Deadpool's universe thrives on unexpected cameos and clever inside jokes. Even if Elektra didn't get the spotlight, her brief appearance was a satisfying throwback with a wink and a nod to fans of the superhero cinema. Now, Daphne Keene's return as X23 was a moment worth its weight in adamantium. Seeing Laura pop back into action was like spotting an old friend in a crowd of new faces. And her mature take on the character was both nostalgic and fresh. While her action scenes didn't exactly have us on the edge of our seats like in Logan, her presence was a welcome nod to fans while still remembering her as one of the coolest characters to grace the X-Men universe. And let's talk about her brief but brilliant pizza party cameo. Sitting next to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine like she's finally gotten the family invite she deserved. It was like the ultimate crossover event where you're not just fighting supervillains, but also sharing a slice of pizza with your superhero family. Plus, the callback to her original look with the shades and backpack was a nice touch, providing that even in a chaotic multiverse, some things never change. X23 may not have had a big action moment, but her appearance was a big win for the nostalgia and a treat for fans eager to see her back in action. Now, Chris Evans making a cameo as Johnny Storm in Deadpool and Wolverine was like finding out your favorite action star is also a top-notch stand-up comedian. Here's Evans channeling his fiery alter ego with all the pizzazz of the high school talent show, providing that even though he's known for wielding a shield, he can still throw a blazing punchline. The scene where he tosses a flame on with all the enthusiasm of someone who's just realized they're the only one at the costume party actually dressed up is comedic gold. And can we talk about the post-credit scene? Evans casually trash-talking Cassandra Nova behind her back. It's the equivalent of throwing a flaming bag of jokes at her, and it's hilarious. Who knew that the same guy who saved the world as Captain America could still look so effortlessly cool while he's burning bridges? Literally and figuratively. With his old Marvel persona, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm was the perfect way to remind us that even though he's moved on to being a serious movie star and a lot of shit products, he can still bring the heat with a wink and a grin. Okay, so Wesley Snipes as Blade in this movie is like a masterclass in asserting dominance from the shadows. The man strolls in, drops the mic with "There's only ever gonna be one Blade," and then promptly sets the room on fire. Metaphorically, of course, because that's his thing. You've got to love the audacity. It's like he's challenging the entire MCU to a duel while also giving the nostalgic nod to his own groundbreaking role in the 90s. It's as if Snipe is saying, I'm still the OG and you don't forget it, but with a grin. That says he knows he's the only Blade who will ever matter. And let's not overlook the fact that this movie is a cheeky reminder of his legendary status, while making us wonder if Kevin Feige might need a new pair of shoes to fill the blazing trail Snipes has left behind. Blade's cameo was a perfect blend of swagger, humor, and a dash of comic book royalty, leaving us all wondering if Snipes, Blade, might just be the ultimate no-chill superhero. And I just want to say, when this movie was first coming out, a lot of rumors went around that the original X-Men were going to be, that was Halle Berry, Femke Jensen, and Marsden's Cyclops were all going to be in this movie. And as soon as they didn't show up, I was like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, did Wesley Snipes hit Halle Berry so hard she can't even make a cameo in this movie? Gambit's cameo in this movie was such a treat that made us laugh and cheer all at once. And so Channing Tatum's portrayal of this iconic card-throwing Cajun was like a love letter to the character, but with a comedic twist that perfectly fit Deadpool's irreverent style. Watching Tatum shuffle his charged cards in slow motion was like seeing a magic trick performed by a guy who's probably lost a bet on his costume choice. Seriously, did he raid a circus for the suit? His Cajun accent might have been more lost in translation than genuine, but it was hilariously spot on for this Deadpool universe. Plus, the fact that we got to see Gambit's signature card tricks in action for the first time on screen, pure cinematic gold. So here's to Tatum's Gambit, making us laugh, making us cheer, and making us wish we had a few of those charged cards to throw at our daily annoyances. So the Deadpool Core. So the Deadpool Core's cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine in this movie is like an interdimensional party where every version of Deadpool gets to crash the scene, and boy, did they bring the fun. From the regal Blake Lively as Lady Deadpool, sporting a ponytail that could stop traffic, to Matthew McConaughey's Cowboy Deadpool. The Core is an absolute riot. But let's not forget Dogpool, who steals the show with his adorable scruffy face and irresistible charm. And the real kicker, Nicepool, the sweet, heartwarming variant who could have his own spinoff just for being so darn endearing. Now, the Deadpool Core proves that no matter the universe, when you're rolling with this many Deadpools, hilarity and heart are guaranteed. It's a glorious chaos of comic book love and laughter. And you've got to admire the way Reynolds and crew made sure that Deadpool Core had their moment in the spotlight, making us wonder if there's a multiverse out there where this gang of misfits is running a superhero school. And finally, I want to talk about this Wolverine montage in this movie. It is an absolute comic book lover's dream, serving up a buffet of Wolverine variants that even Logan himself would find overwhelming. Amidst Hugh Jackman's Tour de Wolverine from Old Man Logan to his iconic yellow and brown suit, which, by the way, had fans practically clawing my showing of this movie. I love that because that's his first time that he shows up was when he fights Hulk, which we saw a little bit of Hulk's back in this, but it was just great. I love seeing him in his classic brown and yellow suit, and seeing Old Man Logan there was fun too. But yeah. So, but the real gem is the brief but electric appearance of Henry Cavill as a Wolverine variant. It's a testament to Cavill's effortless cool that even in his fleeting cameo, he manages to make Hugh Jackman look overmatched. The line about treating Cavill better than the guys down the street was a hilarious jab at DC's mishandling of their Superman, providing once again that Deadpool is the king of meta humor. This sequence goes full nerdgasm with its deep cut references to outrageous variants. including the riotously tiny comics accurate Wolverine. This pint-sized powerhouse with a disco-ready black V-neck is so perfectly ridiculous that it makes you wonder if Marvel might have missed the trick not going for this version full time. I laugh so hard at this joke, like when he gets off the gets off the thing and he's all like, "Look at you! You bounced off that stool so good," and everything. It was so funny. Loved it. It's a tongue-in-cheek homage to fans' endless debates about Wolverine's height, and the little guy hopping off his bar stool is a moment of pure, unadulterated comic book joy. Also, throwing a deep cut like Mark Silvestri's comic book cover of the Wolverine on the X Cross was really such a great, shout out to fans of that comic book. That was when he went to that world and we saw that, I was like, shut up. I was like, that is great. But the true MVP of this montage is the nod to Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. For comic book fans, this is like spotting an old friend you thought was lost forever. Seeing this epic storyline get its due recognition, especially in the cinematic setting, was nothing short of cathartic. It's a celebration of Wolverine's rich history delivered with such a fanfare and precision that it makes you want to high-five every comic book geek in the theater. Thanks to this film, we finally got a big screen salute to one of the greatest crossover events ever, and it was worth every second. I cannot tell you, I cheered out loud. Age of Apocalypse is my favorite X-Men storyline, and I absolutely when he popped up, I was like, yeah, and everything. I can't tell you how much I loved it. I want an Age of Apocalypse movie like right now. I just want it. It would be, I wish they would do it. I really wish they would. They won't, but I wish they would. So there you have it. My spoiler rundown of Deadpool and Wolverine. It's a love letter to fans and a triumph of humor and action, and a delightful ride through the multiverse. This film not only celebrates the characters, but also reinvents the superhero genre with its fresh take and irreverent humor. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman aren't just giving us a victory lap, they're building a new playground and inviting us all over for the ultimate superhero party. If you're ready for meta madness, epic cameos, and action that'll make you cheer and laugh, Deadpool and Wolverine is your ticket to the comic book cinema event of the year. Trust me, this movie will have you laughing, cheering, and maybe even hugging your popcorn. So go get your tickets, grab some snacks, and prepare for a wild ride through the multiverse. Thanks for joining me on this. Tell me what you guys thought about the movie. Who was your favorite Wolverine? Who was your favorite Deadpool? What was your favorite action sequence? All that good stuff. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next movie review. You guys have a good day. Bye.